If you've ever wondered why some people walk into a room and instantly get taken seriously, while others get talked over, postponed, or ignored, this video is for you. Today, we're unpacking a simple, often misunderstood principle that separates people who command respect from those who chase approval. It's practical, it's repeatable, and by the end, you'll know exactly how to apply it in your next conversation. Before we dive in, help this message reach more people. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss a new chapter. And drop this pledge in the comments to lock in the mindset. Respect over approval. If this resonates, like the video and share it with someone who needs stronger boundaries today. Ever notice how certain people never get interrupted, never have their time wasted, and never have to repeat themselves? It's not luck, and it's not because they're richer, louder, or naturally confident. It's because they practice one psychological principle that most of us were never taught. Respect is created by consequences, not by being liked. Think about your last week. Someone slipped ahead of you in line, and you said nothing. A friend canceled on you, again, and you smiled. No problem. A colleague presented your idea as their own, and you let it slide because you didn't want to make it awkward. In each of those moments, without meaning to, you sent a quiet signal. There is no cause for treating me this way. People are excellent learners. When you make disrespect free, they'll take it again and again. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Approval-seeking trains others to ignore you. The harder you try to be agreeable, the more predictable you become. And once you're predictable, you're expendable. Respect doesn't rise from charm or constant niceness. It rises from clarity and consequence. Not anger, not drama, not long speeches. Just a steady, unmistakable understanding. If you cross this line, access to me changes. Consider the people you respected most in your life. A demanding teacher, a principled supervisor, a friend who told you the truth even when it stung. They didn't audition for your approval. They didn't explain themselves endlessly. They had standards, and they enforced them, calmly, consistently, and without performance. This is the pivot of the entire video. Being liked can make you weak. Being respected makes you effective. Respect isn't handed out because you're nice. It emerges because your boundaries are real. Today you begin replacing the habit of pleasing with the practice of quiet consequences. Now that we expose why being liked silently erodes your power, let's reveal the hidden weakness inside approval itself, and why the more you chase it, the less of it you actually get. Here's a hard truth most people never face. The more you try to be liked, the less people actually like you. The harder you work to earn approval, the easier you are to dismiss. It sounds unfair, but it's pure human psychology, and it's why the people who seem the most respected are often the least concerned with being liked. Think about the last time you dealt with someone who needed others to like them. You could sense it, couldn't you? That subtle eagerness in their tone, the quick smile that appears even when they're disrespected, the way they laugh off rudeness just to keep the peace. There's something about that behavior that feels off. It doesn't make you admire them. It makes you lose respect. Because deep down, everyone can smell desperation for approval, and it's one of the most repellent traits a person can display. When you make being liked your mission, you become predictable. People learn exactly how to handle you, what strings to pull, what tone to use, and which lines they can cross without consequence. They know you'll agree even when you shouldn't. They know you'll show up even when they've disrespected your time. And once they realize that, you become disposable. The irony is that approval seekers believe their kindness and flexibility will make them more valuable. But in reality, it signals weakness. Respect doesn't come from always saying yes. It comes from knowing when to say no. Now, think of the people you genuinely respect. Are they constantly trying to make everyone happy? Or do they seem grounded, even when others disapprove? You probably admire them because they carry themselves with quiet certainty. They don't need validation to know their worth. That's what gives them gravity. Niccolò Machiavelli understood this centuries ago when he wrote, "It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both." He wasn't encouraging cruelty. He was describing psychological balance. Feared doesn't mean people are scared of you. It means they recognize consequences. They know your boundaries are real. That awareness alone changes how they treat you. Look closely at your own relationships. The teacher who pushed you hardest, the boss who demanded your best, the friend who told you the truth instead of what you wanted to hear. These people didn't chase your approval, and that's why you respected them. Their honesty and consistency set them apart. Meanwhile, the people pleasers in your life fade into the background. They blend in because they never stand for anything. They confuse being nice with being respected, not realizing that when you're available to everyone, you become special to no one. Every time you let something slide, every time you avoid conflict to keep others comfortable, you're sending one message loud and clear. Your comfort matters more than my boundaries. And that's exactly how you lose respect. Not in big betrayals, but in 1,000 tiny concessions that slowly teach others how little your time and voice are worth. So ask yourself, what would change if, instead of needing to be liked, you demanded to be respected? What if you stopped explaining, stopped apologizing, and started letting people experience the cost of crossing your limits? This is where the real shift begins, the moment you stop asking for respect and start commanding it. And in the next chapter, we'll uncover the raw psychology behind it, how consequences, not charisma, shape the way others treat you. Now that you understand how chasing approval drains your power, let's talk about what actually commands respect. Not the fake kind that comes from politeness, but the kind that makes people instinctively think twice before crossing you. That kind of respect isn't about titles, money, or charisma. It's built on one simple principle: consequence. When people know that crossing you will cost them something, your time, your attention, your cooperation, they behave differently. It's not about being mean or vindictive. It's about balance. When disrespect has no cost, it becomes a habit. When it carries a consequence, it stops. Most people confuse admiration with respect. They think if they're impressive enough, talented, smart, kind, people will treat them well. But admiration is shallow. People admire movie stars, but they don't hesitate to gossip about them. They admire leaders, but they still undermine them when given a chance. Respect is different. Respect means people know there's a line they can't cross. Not because you said so, but because you've shown them what happens when they do. Here's the painful truth. Every time someone disrespected you, and you did nothing, you trained them that it was safe to do it again. You taught them that your boundaries were negotiable, that your time and energy were free. And once you make yourself safe to disrespect, respect becomes impossible. The people who are respected don't achieve it by demanding it. They achieve it by enforcing it. They don't need to argue, explain, or raise their voices. Their silence is enough because people have learned what that silence means. It means distance, withdrawal, consequence. Imagine this. Someone cancels plans at the last minute. Instead of acting unfazed, you stop rearranging your schedule for them. A co-worker interrupts you again during a meeting. Instead of laughing it off, you calmly finish your point and don't give them a reaction they expect. Someone oversteps a boundary. They lose access to your time, your help, your presence. No speeches, no anger, just quiet correction. That's what real power looks like. Niccolò Machiavelli wrote, "Men are so simple and so ready to obey present necessities that he who deceives will always find someone who will allow himself to be deceived." What he meant was that people act according to what you allow, not what you ask for. You train others how to treat you by what you tolerate. No better, no worse. And the dark power of respect is that it's self-reinforcing. The more you demand it, the more you get it. The more you get it, the easier it becomes to demand it. It's an upward spiral of strength and clarity. You'll notice that people start choosing their words carefully around you. They hesitate before wasting your time. They treat you as someone whose presence has weight. But here's the crucial difference between demanding respect and demanding to be liked. When you chase approval, you hand control of your emotions to others. They decide whether to give you what you crave. But when you command respect, the power shifts. You're no longer asking, you're deciding. Respect isn't something they give you. It's something you take by refusing to accept anything less. Look at the people who seem unshakable, the ones everyone listens to when they speak. They're not loud, but they're firm. They don't beg to be respected. They simply don't participate in situations where respect is absent. Their composure becomes their armor, their consistency their weapon. This is what separates the powerful from the powerless. The powerful know that respect is non-negotiable. The powerless keep trying to earn it by being extra nice, extra giving, or endlessly available, never realizing that the very act of begging for respect destroys it. So if you want to reclaim your power, stop chasing approval and start enforcing your worth. When someone crosses a line, let your silence, your absence, or your refusal speak louder than any argument could. Let your boundaries do the talking. Because respect isn't something people offer to those who need it. It's something they give to those who expect it. And once you learn to expect it, the world starts responding differently. Now, in the next part, we'll go deeper into the psychology of control. You'll see how every interaction you have is a silent battle for power, and why. If you don't know who's in control, it's never you. Here's where everything starts to click. Every single human interaction, every conversation, every friendship, every relationship is a subtle exchange of control. One person sets the tone. One person decides what's acceptable. One person leads and the other follows. The uncomfortable truth is that if you don't know who's in control, it's not you. Approval seekers hand over control without even realizing it. They give away in small, quiet ways. With every forced smile, every hesitant sure, no problem. Every moment they swallow their frustration just to keep the peace. It feels harmless in the moment, but over time, it becomes a pattern. You start shaping your words, your tone, even your decisions around what will make other people happy. And the more you do that, the more they learn that your behavior is theirs to command. Think about it. Every time you say yes when you want to say no, you're giving someone control over your choices. Every time you stay silent when you should speak up, you're giving them control over your voice. Every time you apologize just to smooth things over, when you did nothing wrong, you're giving them control over your self-respect. This is why approval addiction is so dangerous. It's not just an emotional weakness. It's a psychological surrender. You trade your autonomy for a hit of validation. You become addicted to the feeling of being liked because your brain rewards it. Dopamine floods in when someone praises you, and before long, you're not acting for your own values. You're performing for applause. It's like handing someone the remote control to your emotions. They push a button, praise, disapproval, silence, and you react exactly the way they want. That's not kindness. That's psychological slavery with polite manners. Meanwhile, the people who command respect do the opposite. They keep control of their own emotions. They speak when they have something to say, not when they think others want to hear it. They make decisions based on what aligns with their values, not what keeps everyone else comfortable. And when someone tries to guilt, shame, or pressure them, it doesn't work because they've disconnected the buttons that others use to press. This is the secret behind true confidence. Confident people aren't fearless. They just don't allow other people's opinions to dictate their behavior. They made a conscious decision. Your approval is optional. My integrity is not. Machiavelli understood this dynamic when he wrote, "Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are." Approval seekers perform for crowd. The powerful stop performing. They live according to their own script. And when you stop performing for others, something incredible happens. You become unpredictable. Unpredictability is power. When people can't predict your reaction, they can't manipulate you. They can't guilt you, because guilt only works on someone who fears disapproval. They can't pressure you, because pressure only works on someone desperate to please. The moment you stop caring whether they like you, you become untouchable. Imagine this shift. Instead of thinking, what will make them happy, you start asking, what feels right for me? Instead of wondering, do they approve? You start deciding, do I? You stop tailoring yourself to fit their comfort and start living in alignment with your truth. That's not arrogance. That's emotional sovereignty. Now, here's the paradox. When you no longer need people's approval, they start respecting you more. They sense that your confidence doesn't depend on them. They realize that pleasing you can't be bought with empty flattery, and that makes your respect infinitely more valuable. The relationships that survive this transformation become deeper and more real because they're no longer based on manipulation or dependency. They're built on mutual respect. Yes, some people will fall away when you stop being easy to control. Good. Let them. Anyone who only valued you when you were pliable never respected you in the first place. What's left will be genuine. People who appreciate your honesty, not your compliance. This is the true psychology of control. The moment you stop giving away, you reclaim your power. You no longer live at the mercy of other people's moods, approval, or opinions. You start living as someone who decides, not someone who reacts. Drop this affirmation right now in the comments and say it out loud if you need to. I control my worth. Because once you take back control of your emotions, your choices, and your boundaries, no one, and I mean no one, can take your power again. Next, we'll move from mindset to mastery. In the final chapter, we'll explore Machiavellian rules of respect. The practical, proven strategies that turn self-control into undeniable authority. Now that you understand the psychology behind approval, control, and respect, it's time to move from theory to practice. This is where everything comes together. The rules that quietly transform you from the person people overlook to the person they instinctively respect. These aren't tricks or gimmicks. They're timeless principles of power and human behavior that work every single time, if you have the discipline to apply them. Let's dive in. Rule 1. Speak less, act more. Weak people explain. Strong people act. Most people talk endlessly about what they'll do, why they did it, or how they feel about being treated unfairly. They over-communicate because they crave understanding. But over-explaining is a subtle form of begging. You're asking for others to approve your choices. Those who command respect operate differently. They don't seek validation through words. They let silence, consistency, and results speak louder. When someone disrespects them, they don't give a lecture on boundaries. They simply enforce the boundary. When someone asks for explanations they don't owe, they stay calm and firm. That's not up for discussion. Machiavelli once said, "The lion cannot protect himself from traps, and the fox cannot defend himself from wolves." Translation: you must be clever enough to see manipulation coming and strong enough to shut it down without debate. The less you justify yourself, the more power your words carry when you finally speak. Rule 2. Never chase approval. When you chase approval, you declare dependence. Every unanswered message, every cold shoulder, every silence eats away at your confidence because you've handed your self-worth to someone else. Stop. Don't chase. Ever. If they ignore you, let them. If they pull away, wish them well and move forward. The paradox of human psychology is this. The moment you stop chasing, people start wondering why they no longer have your attention, and that curiosity creates respect. Indifference is magnetic, not coldness, but calm detachment. You're signaling, I want nothing from you but mutual respect. That's power. Rule 3. Stay cold and calm under attack. The moment you lose your temper, you lose control. Anyone who can make you angry controls you. Emotional outbursts tell others, I can be manipulated. That's why manipulators love provoking reactions, because as long as you react, they hold a remote. But when you stay calm, when you respond with cold composure, or even slight amusement, the power dynamic flips. You're saying without words, you can't touch me. That's unsettling for manipulators. It removes their leverage. Your calmness under fire isn't weakness. It's psychological armor. When someone tests you, remember, the audience isn't the attacker. It's everyone watching how you handle it. The calm one always commands the room. Rule 4. Be unpredictable. Predictable people are easy to control. Once others know exactly how you'll react, how you'll always forgive, always show up, always say yes, they start scripting your behavior for you. So break the script. Sometimes be generous, sometimes withdrawn, sometimes give, sometimes refuse. Keep your actions grounded in principle, not pattern. When people can't predict your next move, they respect your independence, because unpredictability signals freedom. Machiavelli wrote, "Since love and fear can hardly exist together, if we must choose between them, it is far safer to be feared than loved." He didn't mean cruelty. He meant uncertainty. When others aren't sure whether you reward or withdraw, they tread carefully. And that caution is respect. Rule 5. Enforce boundaries swiftly and silently. Boundaries mean nothing without enforcement. When someone crosses a line and you do nothing, you've taught them your words are hollow. The secret is not in punishment, but in speed and certainty. Don't over-explain. Don't issue endless warnings. Don't say, "Next time." There is no next time. A calm, immediate consequence does more than any angry outburst ever could. Silence and absence are often the most powerful responses because they communicate that your self-respect is non-negotiable. Rule 6. Use scarcity and distance as power multipliers. Here's the part almost everyone gets wrong. They believe being constantly available makes them valuable. But in human psychology, availability breeds indifference, while scarcity breeds value. When you're always present, people stop noticing you. When your time, attention, and forgiveness are unlimited, they lose their worth. But when you become selective, when your yes actually means something, you become someone whose presence carries weight. Start saying no more often. Delay your responses. Protect your attention like it's currency, because it is. When your availability becomes rare, your respect multiplies. Machiavelli said, "Men judge more by the eye than by the hand, for all can see but few can feel." Meaning, when people don't see you often, they idealize you. Mystery magnifies influence. Strategic distance is not cruelty, it's wisdom. The transformation that follows. When you live by these principles, everything shifts. Your relationships purify. Some people will fade away because they can no longer manipulate you. Let them. The ones who stay will be real. Your confidence will rise, not because others validate you, but because you finally trust yourself. Opportunities will start coming to you. People will listen when you speak, not because you demand it, but because your silence now means something. And perhaps most importantly, your stress will vanish. You'll stop wasting energy trying to please everyone and start living from a place of peace, calm, steady, unshakable. This is the Machiavellian balance between compassion and power, between being respected and being used. It's not about becoming cold or ruthless. It's about becoming whole. So the next time someone crosses a line, stay calm. Enforce the consequence. Protect your energy. Speak less. Act more. And remember this final truth. Respect isn't requested. It's commanded, quietly, consistently, and without apology. Drop this final affirmation in the comments. Backhand index pointing right. Respect is my birthright, because in a world full of people begging to be liked, the person who doesn't need approval controls everything.